everyone, I am Akshay Jadhav and I welcome you all to my fourth video lecture on basic concepts of thermodynamics. In today's lecture, I am going to cover some of the contents like what is the state of a thermodynamic system, what is change of state, next what is path of change of state, next thermodynamic process and thermodynamic cycle. Before switching over to the actual concept, I would like to recall some of the contents from our previous lecture. In our previous lecture, we have seen what are intensive and extensive properties. Intensive properties are those properties which are independent on the amount of matter present in a system. The best examples are pressure, temperature and density. Whereas extensive properties are those properties which are dependent on the amount of matter present in a system. The best examples are mass, weight, area, volume, heat capacity, etc. Now let us begin with today's concept, that is state of a thermodynamic system and change of state, by taking this piston cylinder arrangement. This piston cylinder arrangement shows us that there is a piston here, there is a cylinder and this is a gas. I am taking 1 kg of gas and this will become my system, and this is a boundary. Whatever the red dotted lines I have drawn is called as what? Boundary of the system, and it is real one. Now what is state? In our day-to-day life, we use many social media platforms to connect with people, and sometimes we update our status. While updating the status, we make use of some of the parameters like sad, happy, feeling blessed. By doing so, we tell others what is the condition we are in. Similarly, the state of a thermodynamic system can be determined by parameters like pressure, volume and temperature. Right? This pressure, volume and temperature are the parameters which are used to describe the condition of a thermodynamic system. Now, what is thermodynamic system state? State of a thermodynamic system is defined as a condition in which the system is at any instant of time, which can be described by the properties like pressure, volume and temperature. Now, in this sketch, at beginning the piston is at point 1 and the gas or the system possesses some of the properties like P1, V1 and T1. P1 is the pressure of the gas at point 1. V1 is the pressure volume of the gas at point 1 and T1 is the temperature of the gas at point 1. These are the properties of the system. Now, when I heat this gas, when we supply heat to the gas expands, because we know that whenever gas receives heat, it expands. Due to this, the gas start applying the pressure on the piston and the piston moves to this end. Right, the piston moves here at point 2. Now, when the piston moves at point 2, the properties of the system changes from P1, V1, T1 to P2, V2 and T2, and the gas has filled now the entire cylinder due to the expansion. This is called as what? Change of state. At the beginning, at 1, the properties were P1, V1 and T1. Now, due to the expansion, the properties are changed to P2, V2 and T2, and this concept is called as what? Change of state. I would like to take a simple example. Today, all people are in panic. They are in a state of fear. But after some days, or when the things come back to the normal, again they will come back to the state of joy and happiness. Now they are at one state, and after some days the state is going to change, and that is nothing but a change of state. Similarly, what is happening in this case? Now let us understand what is path of change of state, thermodynamic process and thermodynamic cycle. Now if I draw a PV diagram here, PV diagram indicates pressure volume diagram. Now I will take pressure along y-axis and volume along x-axis. I am taking volume along x-axis and pressure along y-axis. Now if you observe, this will become our point 1. This is a point 1. So this is the point 1 where the volume is V1. this is the volume what is occupied by this gas at the beginning. So this is the P1, correct? And at this point the parameters are P1, V1 and T1. Okay. Now due to this expansion, now what will happen? The piston will move down, means the system is expanding, gas is expanding, and it will reach to the point 2. Now when it reaches to the point 2, the properties are not going to remain same, they are going to change. Okay, the properties from P1, V1 and T1 will convert into P2, V2 and T2. So this will be the P2 and this will be the V2. Now this is the volume which is occupied by the gas and this is the volume. Okay. Now if you observe this, while changing its state from 1 to 2, the system has followed one path, and that is nothing but path of change of state. I would like to take an example. When we travel from one city to another city, we take a path. We travel with a path or we follow one path, and that is called as what? Path followed while changing a location. Similarly here, while changing a state, system is following this path, and that is called as path of change of. Now let us discuss the concept of thermodynamic process and thermodynamic cycle. In this case, we have seen that when we supply Q amount of heat to gas, gas expands and it pushes the piston to this point 2. During this operation, we have seen that there is a change in the properties like pressure, volume and temperature. Earlier the pressure was P1 which is changed to P2, volume was V1 which is changed to V2, and temperature was T1 which is changed to T2. Means one or more than one properties are changing during this operation, and that operation or that is called as what? Thermodynamic process. Thermodynamic process can be defined as a operation in which one or more than one properties of the system changes. So you can say this is a thermodynamic process. If you take an example, let us draw a PV diagram, that is pressure along y-axis and volume along x-axis. Now this is a point 1, right, where the things are P1, V1 and T1. Now here it is P1 you can mark, and here it is V1 you can mark. During this expansion, what will happen now? The gas will expand and it will reach to the point 2. So this is what happening, and this is called as one thermodynamic process because it is an involvement of what? Heat. Now what is thermodynamic cycle? Same example if you take now in this case, what is happening? The system is changing from state 1 to state 2. This is happening because you are supplying the heat to the gas. Now if I remove the heat, means if I cool down the gas will start returning back to its original state. Means the gas will again start returning back to its original state and it will reach to the point 1. Now when it reaches to the point 1, it will get that initial conditions, right? Here it was P2, V2, T2, but due to this process, again the property changed to P1, V1, T1 from P2, V2, T2. Now if you observe this, there are two processes are involved, that is process one is expansion process, right, that is 1A2, and process 2 is compression process, that is process 2B and 1. Now if you observe this, initial state and final state are identical. That's why it is called as a thermodynamic cycle. Cycle is what? Cycle is a loop, correct? Where the initial point and final point are identical. Similarly, in a thermodynamic cycle is one in which the initial state and final states are identical. Now here I have taken two processes. It may be now four processes also. That is also called as what? Thermodynamic cycle. Now if you see here, it involves four processes: 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. After completion one cycle, the system or gas is going to get its original conditions, and that is nothing but a thermodynamic cycle. Thermodynamic cycle is defined as a process, or it is a combination of processes which are carried out in such a way that the initial state and final states are identical, and this is a definition of what thermodynamic cycle. These are the very important contents what we are covered in today's lecture. We will see few more things in our upcoming lectures. Thank you.